Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. This is it. This is my review for Deadpool and Wolverine. It just came out. It's non-spoiler review, by the way, so don't worry. I'm not going to be spoiling anything in this video. I will be doing a spoiler review possibly within the next week, as soon as more people start to see the film and the film starts to get a more wider release. But here in Australia, we usually get things like a day early just because of, like, I don't know, distribution laws or whatever, or the regional laws. I got no clue. But we usually get these big tentpole superhero movies like a day early, and so I got to watch it tonight, and these are my thoughts. This is my review. So non-spoiler, don't worry, no spoilers here. But yeah, so I've been very excited for this film. Obviously, it's had so much hype around it for a long time. It's the only MCU film coming out this year. Everyone's been so excited for Deadpool and Wolverine since it was announced a couple years ago, with Ryan and Hugh Jackman doing that sort of announcement video where they're talking and they revealed the logo. And yeah, so there's been a lot of speculation about this film. This is sort of like the new No Way Home in terms of, like, that's not like a spoilery sentence, by the way, but in terms of the speculation that's been going on around this film, around who's going to be in it, what's going to happen in it, stuff like that. And so, will this save the MCU? People have been asking, and I'm here to answer your questions. Now, I feel the same way about this film as I do about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Whereas this film is more intertwined with sort of the future of the MCU, and more intertwined with the MCU itself, rather than while Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 sort of felt more standalone and more like an ending. This film didn't feel like an ending to me. It didn't feel like the end of like the Deadpool trilogy. It didn't. It felt like the start of something new. You know, like everyone's been saying on the press tour, like the mutant era is here, and it really is. So the way I compare this to Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is that I think it's more of like, I don't think it means, okay, so this film, I'm going to say it, this film was good. It was really, really good. But I don't think it necessarily indicates much for the future of the MCU, because we still do have these projects coming up that are sort of a bit iffy, right? Like, they even have sort of meta jokes in the film about the state of the MCU. But so they're clearly aware of it, but there are also some things coming down the pipeline that are a little bit iffy, a little bit like the things that we've been seeing in the past, you know, the projects that haven't been hitting. And, you know, they do mention that, they touch on that a little bit in the film, because it's obviously very meta, very you know, breaking of the fourth wall. And so obviously they're going to be talking about that stuff, and they did, and it was great. But yeah, the film itself I think is really, really strong. It's really good. It's not necessarily an indicator of the MCU being like everything's going to be a banger now, but I think in terms of, you know, it's a step in the right direction. And so when I say we're so back, I mean we're so back, right? Like, it's a step in the right direction. I still think there's some junk to sort through in the future, but I think for now, this is a great step in the right direction for the MCU. And it feels like a new beginning. The film feels like a new beginning. It doesn't feel like an end, like I mentioned. But anyway, let's get into talking about the actual film. So the film itself is really entertaining. Obviously, it's so funny. It really is. It's my favorite of the 3 Deadpool films, obviously. I think it's most people's favorite once they see it. It's so well written. And this was filmed during a strike, so there's not much improv in the film, if any at all, because there wasn't allowed to be, because that would technically count as writing, you know. And during the writer's strike, obviously writers weren't allowed to write. And so the movie was filmed during a writer's strike, so the film had already been written, but that meant no improv. But anyway, from a writing standpoint, the film is very strong. It's very funny. Like, obviously, that's the main thing I think it has for it, is 1, the humor, and 2, the action. I think going into this film, don't go into it expecting like expecting a dramatic, emotional, you know, heartbreaking, touching film. It's got those moments, sure, it's got those dramatic moments, and it does have the sense of emotion in it and the sense of heartfeltness. It really does. But that's not the main attractor of the film. The main thing about this film is the action and is the humor. The humor is so funny. It really is so meta. Ryan Reynolds is just incredible, as long as Hugh Jackman. They have incredible chemistry together, and we really have been waiting for this for so long, and to see it be finally here is so awesome. To see Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, really get to be Wolverine in this film, with the iconic costume, and the costume was like made a big deal of in the film. It's really, really cool, and I just thought it was awesome, and I I want to say I can't wait for the future, but I don't actually know what the future holds. But I feel like we're going to be seeing these characters again. That's not a spoiler. I'm not saying anything that happens in the film, but I feel like we're going to be seeing these characters again. I don't know. But I just thought the film was really good on that standpoint. The humor was so funny. Ryan Reynolds is so hilarious. All his, the supporting cast are very funny. No spoilers of any people who might appear. But everyone who does appear are great, Like, there are some cameos. Everyone knows that there's cameos. But in terms of cameos, they're done really, really well. They're done really tastefully, and they're also done in a way that's, like, serves the film. They're not just one and done, like, quick cameos. Oh, look who it is. It's really, like, they're all in service of the film. And the film really is a love letter to the Fox era of Marvel, right? And I think that really is beautiful. And that's sort of an emotional backbone of the film, is a love letter to the Fox films. I think it just was done really, really well. And it was, it was really cool. The opening of the film obviously is incredible. I think it's been sort of leaked what the opening was, but the opening, there was a really cool action scene in the opening. That's all I'm going to say. Really, really funny one too. Like, all of the film was so funny, but just the opening action scene was one of the best parts of the film. But it was incredible. The action is so well done. Sean Levy is incredible at directing the action. It looks so clean. Some of the shots and some of the sequences in this film are just incredible, and just some of the best we've seen in the MCU. And so I can't wait to watch the film again. I might actually go tomorrow night again with some different people to watch it this time, but because I really did enjoy it that much. It's not my favorite MCU film. It's not. But it's definitely up there. It's definitely in the top 10 now, but I think it really is something special. Like, it knows what it wants to be as well. It's not trying to fit into the MCU in their tone, right? It knows that it's a Deadpool film, and it doesn't, it doesn't alter its personality. Like, it doesn't alter its what's the word? Personality, I guess, for the MCU, right? It's still extremely crude. It's still extremely violent. It is so Deadpool, but it's just so cool, right? And it's so cool to see these characters get this treatment, get this incredible treatment, especially Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He was just so great in this film. I mean, it's hard to talk about the film without spoilers, but he was so great. He really was. And Ryan Reynolds, they just have such great chemistry. And the chemistry with the other characters that appear as well, I'm not saying who they are, was off the charts. It's so funny. Ryan Reynolds truly is hilarious, as well as Hugh Jackman, as well as the writers for this film. So shout out to them. This is the funniest Deadpool film. I was laughing, like, I was non-stop laughing. Like, some of the jokes, obviously there were some jokes that didn't hit too well and maybe, like, got old after some points. But for the most part, the jokes were amazing and they hit most of the time, and they were really, really great. And so I was, like, belly laughing for a lot of the film because it was just done so well. The TVA, there's also a really cool explanation in the film for why the TVA looks a little bit different, because everyone's been saying, like, oh, the TVA sort of switched up their vibe a little bit. There's a reason for that, which I think is cool. Like, this film really thought of everything. Like, there's not much, I didn't leave this film questioning anything, I was just like, wow, that was really, really good. And I know people say this with a lot of MCU films, but fun, when I say fun from now on, this is what I mean. This was fucking so fun. What an enjoyable experience. I was in a packed theater, and it was just so, it was great. It is one of the theater experiences that are on par. I would put this more on par with No Way Home than Infinity War and Endgame. I still sort of think they're in a league of their own in terms of theater experience for me, but I think this really was, this was great. This was a really great film. I'm trying to think of some problems that I have with it, and maybe, like, I don't think it's earth-shattering. I don't think my mind was blown or anything, but I still think it was a really great, solid film, and it was just so enjoyable, and some incredible action, some incredible sequences, some incredible characters in the film, some amazing surprises. So stay off social media. Don't get anything spoiled for you, please, because there are some awesome surprises in this film. Also, the villain, Emma Corrin, plays Cassandra Nova. She's really cool too. I'd probably have a little, like, she's cool, but my only quibble, I guess, would be she's a little bit underwhelming in terms of her motivation, especially toward the end of the film. That's all I'm going to say. And so, yeah, that was my review for Deadpool and Wolverine. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Are you going to watch the film? Are you excited to watch it? Did you enjoy it? If you have seen it, let me know your thoughts. I think it's a great film. I really, really liked it. I just think it was sort of firing on most cylinders. Action, humor, emotion, it was all there. And it was all great. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.